All right, here we are with cylinder head number 2. This is the driver's side head. I'm gonna get my valve spring compressor here, and we're gonna go ahead and take the springs out of this head, the valves, compress the springs and take the valves out. Because we've got to get the porting done on this head also. I think I had this thing flipped around the other way the last time on the last head, because this doesn't seem to be coming off as easily as the last set. I think I've got to spin this head around. All right, so that was an exhaust valve. This one's got a spacer on it, which is different from the other head. I think anyway. Yeah. All right, so this might be a better view for you anyway. You can see the valve end of things, the valve stem end of things. Yeah, this works much better for me too, actually. I think I gotta make some more room on my tray here for parts. There's an intake, no spacer. Weird. Oh yeah, we can fit all this here, I think. All right, so this was the first one I took off. This was an exhaust. That spring sits a little crooked. Not sure what that's about. All right. We'll keep going. Spacer. spacer. Okay. What's weird on this head, as opposed to the first head we took apart, is that I think all of the exhaust valves on this head have a shim underneath them, and none, well, one, two of the intakes. So I guess it's not specific to which valve it was. I guess it's specific to the installed valve and the height of the spring seat in the head. So there you go. I'm gonna take this head, of course, and we'll be able to set it next to the first head we ported and compare. But we're gonna do the same port matching that we did on the other head, exhaust and intake. And we're going to do the same work under the valves behind the seats. It'll be interesting to throw this one down next to the one we already did, just to see, you know, how much shape we did take out. All right, cool. I'm gonna, you know, get this over into the other space where the porting tools are, and we'll get to the dirty work, which is the porting. Got a little mineral spirits here on a rag. Just gonna get the oil off of this, or most of it anyway, real quick. We're going to take some Dicam dye, and we're going to mark around these intake ports just like we did on the last one, just to help us mark out where our gasket line is so we can know where to stop grinding. Man, this is so messy, this grinding. I didn't realize. You know, you figure you dive in and you wear some dirty clothes and, you know, you start grinding. But wow. I mean, this stuff gets in your hair, it gets all over your face. It really requires a shower when you're done. If you've never done it before. I didn't realize, man, it's dirty. So I'm glad I came out here to the other garage space, which is Definitely the dirtier of the two spaces I've got here to work with. All right, we're gonna let that dry. Well, I've had a couple of coffees and I put on my super dirty jeans. I've got my earplugs and my glasses, which I need to see, which hopefully will also keep any metal chips from going into my eye. So I'll line up my intake gasket here. This one I think is maybe a little more off than the other side was. Still pretty close though. You might notice I'm using the wrong gasket because I'm not actually going to use this gasket to assemble the engine because it's the wrong one, but the intake ports are the same. I'm just going to take my scribe here and scribe a line in my die. There's really nothing over here. Anywhere that there's some excess material that I want to remove, I'm just going to scribe this line here so I can see it and I know where to grind to. Again, I think it was the same on the other head. This is the worst one. It's actually a little offset under the gasket on this side. Nothing we could do about that though. It's not like we can put metal back in at this point, right? So I'll pop this off. And then you can see the shiny bits. Hopefully you can see that, where the lines are. Get you a little closer. All right. Get you back in the stand here. And I'm going to go ahead and get started grinding. We're going to use our extended grinder. We're going to use the most versatile carbide burr we've got, which is this shape. It's like a tulip or a flame kind of shape. bit of a rough patch, sort of some kind of a casting flash in the roof of that second port there. So I'm going to clean that up, and there's a little hair of it in the first one as well. But you can see all I did here was I got the edge over to my line, and then I blended that into the port. That's all we're doing. We are going to come back and take some off of the little pinch point there where the push rod tube is, only because we already did it on the other head, and I'm going to just measure that with this little measuring tool, because we want to make sure we get them the same dimension. Same drill. Just let that flash for a minute. Maybe we'll help it along. A little high on the pressure there, I think. We've got some casting flash in this port, for sure. There's kind of a booger in there. This one is the worst. There you go. I found on the other head, I'm sure these will be the same, this one will be the same, that the ports on the exhaust side are really kind of not good. So, excited to do this part. And I'll set up our already done unit over here for comparison. All right, so here we go with the Dykem blue again. Good thing I'm not a painter, huh? What do they say? Don't quit your day job? That's me. All right. That takes a little bit of time to dry. It's kind of humid today too, so that doesn't help. I wonder if the same trick will work with the air gun. About the compressor noise. You can see, I mean, I really am just Shadetree. That's my air supply. it's a good little compressor, but there's not a lot of tank volume there. So man, it is on and off and on and off. But hey, you know, I mean, like I said before, nothing fancy here. Here's my shop seat, Lowe's bucket. No apologies, folks. I am what I am. This gasket is a little bit more flimsy, as you can see. And so, you know, trying to match this up like it would be on the engine, you know. You're gonna drop these in here. You're gonna line up the center. And it's gonna be kind of like that. Maybe I should tighten this one down, huh? Maybe that would be good. Yeah. These things are super small compared to the gasket. And I know that the gasket matches the manifold. I measured those up as well. I think I showed that. So, I don't know. I feel like opening these up does something. The interesting thing about this project, well, one interesting, maybe interesting thing, is that I've never driven this car. I bought it from my good friend Carlos, and it's got a lot of miles on it, but it's super duper original. And you know, it ran, but it was really knocking badly, so I actually never drove it. I moved it, you know, in and out of the garage a couple times and around the driveway, but I don't think I ever even took it out into the street after we got it up in here, which we pushed it up in here. It did run, but it was knocking and smoking pretty badly, so yeah. So it's kind of going to be super exciting for me to get this motor installed and take this thing down the road. Can't wait for that. Pretty cool. It's going to be cool. All right, I'm going to measure these center ports. I remember the web between the two center exhaust ports. I think we had it like at 3/16 of an inch. It's a little narrower, but not quite. It's right about there. And then hopefully I got them the same from side to side. So that looks like 1 3/16 there. And 1 3/16 there. So that's what I'm going to shoot for. Over here. So this side is right about there already. This side, there's a lot to take off. 3/16. It's a little narrower. That's the millimeter side, Charlie. Not helpful. All right, I'm gonna call that good. So I've got these all marked out. And we are just gonna go to town on these. There's a lot of material to remove. So I'm gonna shut up, chuck my proper tool, my proper bit into the tool, and I'm gonna get grinding. Can you see? There's a lot of material to remove in here to smooth that port out. You can see there's a little bump up there. Right here. And then down this wall, it makes a turn right down here, off to the left a little further. So I've got to remove some more material in here. It's helpful, I've got this other head that I did, I guess it was last week, to refer to. Still a bump down in there. out in those exhaust ports. The center ones are better. Once you get the gasket matched up and this narrowed down, you just really blend those in, because it seems like the rest of the runner is, well, maybe not. I have to go back and look at what I did on the last one. Yeah, so there's a good bit to take off the wall here. Right there. Right inside the throat on the side. Doesn't look like there's any water jacket there. It's pretty thick right out here. As you get into, you know, as far as my finger can reach in there, it starts to thin out on the side. But by that time, it's pretty open in there. So yeah, let's move things around and get started on the center. I think I need to, I think I might need a rest, honestly. What do they say? Measure twice, cut once. I guess it's kind of an optical illusion, but it seems like it looked like I'm cutting more from this side than this side, but the layout measures good. Well, I've taken a break and had to do some things a little bit later in the day, but I got to finish this up. So I'm just going to keep on going here. All right, I'm feeling pretty good about that. So as far as all the major cuttings, so I'm going to go ahead and change over to the sandpaper roll and polish these up with sandpaper, and I can call the exhaust ports done. All right, pretty good, pretty good. All right, I'm changing over to this bit here because it's got a straight side. I just want to knock off that casting flashing there, flat or flattish. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and dye up these valve seats just like I did last time on the other head. Just so that if we do nick the valve seat, we can easily see that. And we'll be sure to address it by, well, A, by, not doing any further damage, but B, also, 2, we got to make sure to at least lap in those valves to clean them up. I did leave a couple of minor things on the other head on the valve seats. Again, guys, I'm just a Shadetree type mechanic guy. This is by no means any kind of, machine shop going on here. You can see that for yourselves, I'm sure. I'm just working with what I've got. Also, having these dyed inside the seat gives a really good indicator as to how far you've cut. It's really helpful. I'm glad I got it. First time I've ever used this machinist dye. Industrial dye, dye chem, whatever you call it. I think maybe in the interest of time, well, maybe this will dry up real quick. Maybe I'll hit it with the air gun like I did. I guess it was the exhaust. Setting up, I'm going to go ahead and take care of like this casting flash in here, because there's actually 2 layers of it. There's this side, there's this side of the head, and then there's the other side of the head. there's like another layer further down in there that you get from the other side. So I'll address this side real quick while I'm waiting for that dye to dry. Done. That's a lot better. It's a lot cleaner around the edges. I mean, I suppose the oil is going to drain back eventually no matter what you do, but hey, I'm here. I've got the tool. Might as well take care of it. Didn't take that long, right? 10 minutes maybe? All right. I'm gonna go back to this guy. We're gonna work on the area behind the valves. Which is the scariest area to do. All right, happy with the first one. All right. Pretty much good on the intakes. So when I started this on the other head, I had these extended carbide burrs and they've got smaller heads on them. And I kind of found that the short one, the head is really too big for the exhaust valve. And so the problem with this is a 6mm shank and not a 1/4 inch. I chucked the 6mm shank into a 1/4 inch collet. The collet's the part inside here. So I ordered a 6mm collet so that I could use this carbide burr on the exhaust. Now, this is pretty long. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but we're going to give it a shot. Let's just say it's less than ideal, that long. I'm gonna try a different bit. I'm gonna go with this one to see how, because it is smaller. Well, it didn't quite finish, but it's time to clean up. It's late. I'm sure the neighbors are sick of it. I mean, I'm sick of it. It's a lot of noise and dirt. I'm down to one exhaust port under the valve and sandpaper roll all of the ports under the valve. Clean up that top side casting flashing and elongate the push rod holes. So too much to finish tonight, but pretty close. And wow, you can see the floor, you can see how much metal dust is in here. And I'm sure there's more, I'm sure I'm not getting it all here, but it's a big old pile. A lot of metal got to come out of those heads.
Thanks for hanging out in the garage.